Good morning, Chag Sameach, Boker Tov. It's good to see you here on this second day of Sukkot. Good to see everyone coming in. Please do go ahead and share a greeting with all of us who are on here together. And let's enjoy this day and find the goodness in it while also looking honestly at the reality that we're in the middle of. Good morning, Anne and Joni. Good morning to everyone who's with us today on this beautiful day. And it is time for us to begin. And so, just like we did here at the shul a little bit ago, good morning, Sandra. Good morning, Annette. We say Boker Tov and Chag Sameach, Boker O. Welcome to Boker Tov from Temple Sinai Congregation of Toronto's daily opportunity to connect, to reflect, and to remember. I'm Rabbi Michael Dolgin, and it is a pleasure to be here with you today to begin our intermediate day of the holiday together. So because we have Hallel, we'll be doing a little bit of singing. I would advise you to sing along. That way you can listen to both of us instead of just listening to me. But let's join together in this prayer for awakening and for the physical blessings of our world, for our physical selves. Sukkot is such a physical holiday that it's even more important to be grateful. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam bechokma, u'baravo nekavim nekavim, chalulim chalulim, galui v'yadua lifnei chisech vodecha, שאם ייפתח אחד מהם, או ייסתם אחד מהם, אי אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you have fashioned our bodies with wisdom, creating within us a finely balanced network. To stand before you in prayer is itself a fragile miracle. Eternal God, we praise you as the healer of body and spirit. And let's say a prayer for the soul as well. The soul that you have given me, O God, is a pure one. You have created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it. So long as my soul is within me, I will give thanks to you, eternal my God and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. We praise you, eternal God, in whose hand is the power of all life and the spirit of all flesh. And as we make our way through the holiday, let us give thanks for the mind that we have been given, for the opportunity to connect that mind to the soul and to learn. Not just to learn information, but to learn meaning and tradition and significance. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Va'arev na Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Toratcha b'finu ובפי עמך בית ישראל, ונהיה אנחנו וצאצאינו, וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך, ולומדי תורתך לשמה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור. These are the obligations whose value cannot be measured. They nourish us in this world and help us to create the world to come. Kibud av va'em, to honor fathers and mothers. Ugmilut chasadim, to perform acts of love and kindness. Ashkamat bet midrash shacharit ve'arvit, to attend the house of study morning and evening. Bachnasat ochim, to welcome the stranger. Uviku cholim, to visit the sick. V'hachnasat kala, to provide for brides and grooms. Ulvayat hamet, to keep faith with the dead. V'yun tefillah, to pray with sincerity. V'hava'at shalom ben adam l'chavero, to make peace when there is strife. V'talmud Torah keneged kulam, and the study of Torah is equal to them all. Well, let us continue this morning by reciting Baruch She'amah, this prayer that affirms the power of words. Words affect us and help us form and create our perceptions of the world. And then it being the holiday of gratitude and taking in all the blessings in our lives, we'll join in Psalm 100. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam. Blessed is the one who speaks that we might listen. Blessed is the one who acts that we might be witnesses. Baruch hu u'baruch shemo. Blessed is the one who decides that we might accept. Blessed is the one who has mercy that we might live. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam. Blessed is the one who removes the darkness that we might see. Blessed is the one who lives forever that we might believe. Blessed is the one who saves and delivers that we might be redeemed. Mizmor leTodah, a psalm as a way of saying thank you, Todah. Let all the earth sing to the eternal, find joy in service of the sacred. May each word lead to an encounter with the divine presence. May we sense the Holy One within us and in all creation. Discover sacred purpose in all creation, in every moment. The eternal is our infinitely capable creator. God forms our purpose and potential. Enter the gates with gratitude, bring praise and thanks, and bless the divine name. The divine love of the eternal allows us to find good in everything and strengthens the faith of each generation. And as we join in Shema, as we will in a moment for Hallel, we sing. So let's raise our voices and sing about unity, about the kind of unity that needs to be recognized, the kind of unity that brings our world together and that reminds us that unity with God means that all of us are one and that we should live a life dedicated to that oneness and the values that undergird it, including gratitude, including a mutual respect, including an awareness that God is one and God is unique and we are different and don't have that ultimate knowledge and therefore must find ways to seek understanding. Let's join together in singing the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם. בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם. ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית. וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטעו אחרי לבבכם, ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. It is a Friday, and what do we do on Fridays is we look out at a bigger world, and we're going to do that. But after we do that, then we will join in Hallel. But before singing psalms of praise, I want to first acknowledge the reality of what's going on in the world. and the way in which, sadly, we can learn more from people's questions than people's conclusions. I've been aware of that as I look in this time at the response and the quite absurd response of many in the mainstream media to the death of Yahya Sinwar. Yahya Sinwar was a terrorist, a criminal against humanity, somebody who was, if not the mastermind, then the commander of the brutal terrorist inhuman assault on October the 7th, 2023. And who spent years building a life that centers around death and suffering, and who had no interest of any kind in coexistence with anyone who disagreed with him, whether Jew or Israeli, or even those Fatah Palestinians that he murdered when he took power in Gaza. And it's so obvious who he was and who he is and what Hamas is in his image. And yet, what have I been hearing? On the one hand, I've been hearing, as I should, from mainstream media outlets that the death of Sinwar is like the death of Osama bin Laden and other master terrorists, that the world is a less violent place and a place with less evil in it because he is gone. And that even they're saying, it surprises me when they say it, I guess by now, that him losing his life in the conflict he created is a form of justice. It falls very far short to the justice owed to the victims of his horrific crimes, but there is some justice in it. And then what question am I hearing them ask lately? The question they're asking is, so will Netanyahu seek peace now? What kind of a crazed reaction is that? To recognize that Hamas brutally began this conflict, a war that Israel, for good or for bad, sought to avoid for a decade and a half and more before it exploded last year. And an organization that is dedicated in its own charter to death and to a rejection of any kind of sane coexistence or understanding or peace. And then to immediately ask a question that shows that all of the media's assumptions are that the victim of this current conflict, the initial victim, let's be fair that way, the initial victim of the conflict, Israel, because then Sinwar's violence then became the war that's taken so many lives among Palestinians, and each life and each suffering is horrific and painful. War is horrific. And the way to end war is to reject those who seek war. And that is Hamas and the axis supported and formed by Iran. And painfully, that the news media and so many these days have so ingrained in them that because they, like me, don't like Netanyahu or don't agree with his policies, that a democratically elected leader of the state of Israel is the cause of all of these wars. It's absurd. I don't know that we're any closer to peace or to some cessation of war than we were before Sinwar's life was ended, but I know we're not further from it. And so I'm grateful to those soldiers who put their lives on the line every day in order to try to create a more secure world for ourselves, for our people, and for those who affirm democratic values. And I'm sorry that there's not more that we can do from this, except that we have to continue to call out those with this absurd anti-Zionist and anti-Semitic assumptions about what's happening far away and those who would choose to bring them to our own shores. Well, we now make our turn to Hallel, and so we're going to join in Hallel, but also with lulav and etrog. And so, once we've said the blessing for Hallel, I'm going to say the blessing for etrog, and I'm going to turn off my background because otherwise we're just going to see the chapel. We're not going to see the lulav here. Let's first have the invisible lulav. See? All we can see is the handle because it's not green. But we're going to celebrate on this holiday with lulav and etrog. So first, please join me in the blessing for Hallel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et hahallel. And now, welcome to my office. And we lift the lulav and the etrog together, and we say the bracha, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat lulav. And let's join together in the singing of Psalm 114 with the lulav and the etrog together with us. V'tzet Yisrael mi Mitzrayim, Bet Yaakov me'am loez. V'tzet Yisrael mi Mitzrayim, Bet Yaakov me'am loez. הייתה יהודה לקודשו, ישראל ממשלותיו, הים ראה וינוס, הירדן ייסוב לאחור, ההרים רקדו רעלים, גבעות כבני צאן, בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז, בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעם לועז. Good to join together in celebrating the holiday and in being together in this time and taking a moment to just take in the scent and the sense of this beautiful holiday. And so now we continue with our prayer for those soldiers, not ones who did a particular task as much as we're grateful for the ones involved in taking out the lead terrorist in Hamas, but for each of them and all of them who put their lives on the line for Israel and for us, we turn to these words of prayer. מי שברח אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, ואמותינו שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל, הוא יברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ושאר מגיני עמנו העומדים על משמרתם. ישמרם הקדוש ברוך הוא ויצילם מכל צרה וצוקה, מכל נגע ומחלה, וישלח ברכה בכל מעשה ידיהם, ויקוים בהם הכתוב, וכיתתוך אבותיהם לעתים, וחניתותיהם למזמרות, לא יישאו גוי אל גוי חרב, ולא ימדון עוד מלחמה, וישבו איש תחת גפנו, ותחת תאנתו, ואין מחריד, ונאמר, Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless the soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces and all who defend our people. May the Holy One guard them against all difficulty and distress, injury and illness. May all of their actions bring blessing, fulfilling the prophet's words. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, and may they learn war no more. May all sit under a vine or fig tree with none to make us afraid. And together we say, Amen. And let's join together in our prayer also for all those in need of healing, for those in our immediate circle of family and friends, for those in our community, for those amongst our people, the so many injured during this horrible time and needing to rehabilitate. And especially right here, to those names that have been given to me and given to Temple, those names placed in the chat and this and other services. And of course, cruelly, to those who are held in forced captivity by Hamas and their evil terrorist allies. For each of them, for all of them, for prayers for wellness and for prayers that they might be brought home. For all of them, we join in these words. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל, הוא ירפא את כל מכותינו. יהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהינו, להחלימם ולרפאותם, וישלח לנו מהרה רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, ותרד שלום, ונאמר Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless and heal all who suffer. May it be the divine will to provide healing and strength. Reveal to us the holiness of life, the wholeness of shalom, and let us say together, Amen. Well, it's wonderful to be with you here on this morning of Sukkot, for us to have the opportunity to connect and reflect, and also now to take time to remember, recalling those whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken in our hearts with our own. In the period of the last 30 days, we extend our condolences to the families of Paul Auerbach, Stanley Albert, David Hirsch, Alan Bly, Jay Lewis. And it is our sad duty to report the death of our member, Ernest Ernie Rovet, husband of Joanne, father of Ben, Heather, and Jennifer. And our condolences to the whole family. Funeral will take place Sunday morning at 10 a.m. from Benjamin's. Additional information available on their website. We also remember all victims of terror and war, including Ilya Nozadze, Inbal Sege-Vigdel, Jonas Krosis, Nadia Sokolenko, Revital Boronstein, Shachar Goldman, Victor Shimshon Green, and the following IDF soldiers among those who've lost their lives in the last 30 days: Etan Yitzchak Oster, Elad Simantov, Hallel Ettinger, Itai Ariel Jat, Tal Dror, Aviv Magen, Ofek Bachar, Netanel Hershkovitz, Itai Azulai, Ori Moshe Borenstein, Adil Kadosh, Aloni Mitai, Daniel Aviv Chaim Sofer, Koren Bitan, Omri Tamari, Shera Chaya Suslik, Yoav Agmon, Yosef Hib, Nazar Itkin, Nir Hadad, Noam Barzilai, Or Mansur, Almakin Terefe, Eliashiv Etan Vider, Ido Breuer, Itai Fogel, Noam Yisrael Abdu, Tzvi Matatyahu Marantz, Yaakov Hillel, Yehuda Dror. And on your site, on the anniversary of their deaths, on the 16th day of the month of Tishrei, we honor on your site the legacies of Esther Bernick, Irvine P. Dickler, Andrew Fleischer, Carol Hollander, Sandra Miller, Ann Nashman, Seymour Obrant, Belle Austrie, Louis Rifkin, Saul Shop, and Tori. Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be a blessing to us. Our griefs and our sympathies are mingled as we turn together to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope. Yit gadal v'yit kadash me rabba, be'alma divrach chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon v'yomechon, v'b'chaye dechol bet Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv imru, amen. Yehe shme rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemedekudsha barichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'emo. Amen. Yehesh shlama rabba min shmaya v'chaim, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'emo. Amen. Oseh shalom b'momav, hu yaseh shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'emo. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and bring comfort and strength to all who remember. And together we say, Amen. Boker Tov, Boker Ol, Chag Sameach. And it's good to see that Lance and Fern, thank you for adding the link for the Bring Your Own Bagel breakfast after services this morning. I'd urge everyone to join in together. And wishing you Boker Tov and a Chag Sameach. Shabbat, of course, tonight at 6:30 p.m. will be streamed live from the sanctuary with our service, but our consecration service as well, celebrating with the grade 1 families. It's glorious and is worth joining to watch. And tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. in person and in line. Boker Tov.